Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rennch. On today's show, we are going to do final finish work with lead on the passenger side rocker section. Hey there and welcome back. My name is Michael O'Neill. I'll be your tour guide for this particular video. So this marks an odd video in that I've already actually done the work that the video is about. I always do the intro before I've done the work, but to be honest with you, I wasn't even going to shoot a video for this kind of work, and I wasn't going to shoot it because I didn't think it was sexy enough. You know, it wasn't twin turbos and doing crazy flares or anything like that. It was kind of slogging work. And somewhere around halfway through grinding and being on my back and cleaning this whole underside of the rocker area up, I thought, you know, I should turn the camera on because this is what this is. We're in this thing together. You guys should be able to see the journey. And frankly, this kind of work that I've had to do is the majority of what you have to do when you restore a car or build one of these things. It's hours and hours and hours of grinding and finish work to try to get something that looks, pretty good and something you're proud of. And I have to say, I am absolutely stoked with how this turned out. It looks so good. It's just so cool to see a kind of a finished panel. Now, it needs it needs a skim of body filler. It'll need, primer sealer, and then everything needs to be sanded down. But like to see the rocker integrate with the quarter panel that I've already welded on is just rad. It's just a really cool feeling to know that I've blended this thing completely seamlessly, and it looks awesome. So what you're gonna get is, I'll wrap this little intro up now, my little monologue, and then we're gonna jump right into me grinding on this thing. I ground for a couple of hours with a wire wheel before switching to a flap disc, and then a couple rounds of welding and grinding and welding and grinding, and then finally lead filling. Yes, I used a mask. Yes, I used gloves. Thank you guys for your help. And then finally finishing off with some rattle can self-etching primer. And it looks killer. So you'll see the finished result in the outro of this video. As always, if you are brand new here, hit the subscribe, hit the like. In the comments, throw me a high five. Tell me where you're from. Say whatever you want. That's what comments are for. You guys say whatever you want anyway. So without further ado, let's start grinding. Actually, one more thing before I start grinding. This is a bottle of old school methylene chloride aircraft stripper, which we can no longer get in California. It is illegal here. I am not sure if it's illegal everywhere else in the country. I bought this really awful bottle from eBay. It was like this rusty, but it worked. I got rid of a lot of the paint on this car from it. If you live in a state where you can still get this kind of aircraft stripper, this methylene chloride, super dangerous, inhale will kill you, but is the only aircraft stripper that actually works, can you send me 2 bottles? That would be great. I will happily compensate you for your time and effort. If you can do that, here's my email address, or you can just go to the About section of my YouTube channel. But if you can do that for me, I will be eternally grateful. I'll give you a little shout out. And yeah, this is the 3rd time that I've used the Eastwood Deluxe Lead Filler Kit. It went really well. Again, it was very challenging because I have to get underneath the rocker with the lead, but all the tools they include in the kit were perfect. So check out eastwood.com if you guys haven't already for their lead filler kit. If you have one of these old Porsches and you want to do it the way that Stuttgart did it. All right, let me show you guys this rocker area, which I've kind of neglected. I didn't do a very good job stripping the paint initially. And it also has a bunch of holes and weird stuff. There's a bunch of paint still left over underneath here. It has flash rusted. I didn't do a very good job cleaning these seams, so there's rust in there, and I just didn't do a very good job cleaning this whole thing. So I've just spent about an hour on, maybe a little more, on the other side. I spared you guys, but this is what it looks like on the other side now. It's super clean. The metal looks great. It's all ground down. Looks really good, even underneath. The plan is to identify all of these spots here. I've got a bunch of little spots where there's holes, and I'm going to weld those in. I think I might actually run a drill bit through a few of them right now just to make sure that it's clean on the inside. Give this thing a little weld pinch. This is where I put the quarter panel on, and pinch that in. Put a little weld in here in this little seam. Grind that all down, and then I'm actually going to use lead filler here and see if I can get this thing to just be smooth and factory like it's supposed to be. So I've got this small drill bit, and I'm just going to run it through these holes to make sure that I have a nice edge, something to weld to when the time comes. I'm going to use it right here a little bit to help clean this. Just any paint on the inside, or I can see it coming off too, so it's working. Okay, this immediately feels so much better. I've got that all stitched up, super solid. It's gonna need a quick grind. And then all of these holes, also gonna need a quick grind. Then I lead over here, and it's gonna be a lot less lead now that I've done this metal work. Especially here, I really focused on filling this void in with weld material, because I knew that if I tried to lead under here, it was going to be a colossal pain in the butt because it's inverted. But I'll get as much as I can, and then anything I don't get, I should be able to handle with body filler. So no problem there. And then these will just grind out really quick, and then I'm going to hit the entire thing with self-etching primer, and that door jamb will be good to go. Okay, we're ground down. It really looks awesome. Super clean. All the holes are pretty much eliminated. One thing that's crazy to tell is like the metal's already starting to get dark. It's only been bare for, I don't know, an hour, and it's already starting to get dark. So what I'm going to do is I need to wrap up for the day in a minute, but I'm going to basically leave this area untouched because this is what I'm going to be lead filling. But what I'm going to do is actually just spray down the rest of this with some self-etching primer and just pretty much let it go where it's going to go until we put this real coat of primer sealer on it. I have to say, it looks so cool when a panel gets close to being finished. Close up, I did a couple things that I missed. I actually missed a couple of welding holes underneath that I'm going to have to hit tomorrow. I need to hit this one again. I need to hit that guy. And then I did a really light skim here just so it wouldn't flash rust. I'll be able to use my steel brush on the grinding wheel tomorrow, just clean this thing off and get it ready for lead. And then I'm going to pop a little bit of weld right there, right there, right there, right there. All right, it's the next day and the primer has completely dried now. I got to say, I'm stoked with how well it came out. It just looks cool. You know, looking at the car like this where it's multiple colors and there's different primers and even the bare metal is not exactly a consistent color. To see something that looks finished and smooth is just like, oh, that's so nice. It's kind of the only panel on the car, in fact, that has that look, other than the hood, which I'm not touching right now. But let me show you guys really quick, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do for the rest of this video. Oh, and I told you guys I would check in. I always listen to audiobooks as I'm grinding. Today's book is called The Last Sword Maker by Brian Nelson, unabridged. It's an audible.com like bonus, so it's free. And it's about, I'm early, I'm only a couple chapters in, but it's like some crazy virus from China that it's like a nanovirus that can target specific people. So some pretty interesting potential foreboding in this book. Anyway, let's get to grinding. Unsurprisingly, this was really challenging, especially to get the inverted part, the underneath side. But I think it looks good. I'm gonna give it a file now and see how we do. But I'm feeling pretty good about the gap itself being filled in. I'm gonna get rid of most of this stuff, I imagine, as I grind. And I think if there's anything left over, then I should be able to just hit it with some body filler and I'll be good to go. All right, after a lot of filing and smoothing, this is where we are, and I'm pretty excited to see what it looks like with a little primer on it. Well, that thing turned out really, oh wait, sorry. I want to show you guys I'm much safer now around the lead, and thank you for all of your comments. I'm so stoked with how that turned out. I'll show you guys in the outro. Right now the primer's drying, but when that primer went on, all of that stuff disappeared, and that is a really, really cool feeling. Super excited to have finished this part of the car. It was my first quarter panel install, so you never know how it's gonna turn out, but between lead filling the seams and then lead filling in the upper quarter panel part by the rear quarter window, once that thing disappears, it's just a really killer feeling to know that I took multiple chunks of metal and made it into one. So I'm gonna do the other side off camera, of course, because you've seen it now. And I was actually, for this video, gonna do my engine cradle, but I have a really cool special surprise, and hopefully we'll be supporting another independent garage nerd like myself with that surprise later in the week. So until next time, thanks for hanging out. You guys keep on rocking. We'll talk to you soon.